Roosevelt Island resident since 1980, so I'm a relatively recent arrival. The issue that I'm concerned with at the moment, I'm writing a piece of the Main Street Wire updating the situation as regards Main Street retail. This is an old chestnut. The fact is that after the initial burst of activity, no new tenants have arrived on Main Street for 4 years. And a lot of residents, I can tell you, I'm sure you already know, you hear it from residents, are pretty fed up with this. There are a lot of vacant spaces and apparently no action. So I've been talking to the people concerned, notably Hudson related and Cushman. Cushman has nothing to say. Hudson says that there have been people coming in and out, but nothing sticks. And I asked particularly about the issue of signage, because of course Main Street is pretty quiet. Foot traffic is always going to be an issue. The proposal that came up a long time ago was to draw people in by adequate signage, say at Octagon, at the subway, at the tram, to bring all the tourists, for example, from the Four Freedoms Park. Hudson says that they submitted a proposal to RIOC a year ago and nothing has happened. I'd like to comment on that, if you please. Also, I'd like to ask you if you are taking proactive steps to pull people into the spaces. One comment is that spaces are too big, they need to be subdivided. Another comment is that the leasing process is far too complicated. Generally speaking, there seems to be no leadership. People seem to be handing the ball off one to each other. Is it time for RIOC to take a really proactive stance on this, to see what they can do? Reduce, Hudson is talking about $45 a square foot. It's better than $9, but it's worse than nothing. You know, it isn't happening. So perhaps you could let me know what RIOC is doing through the leaders of the Main Street Wire. Are you prepared to stand up and take leadership of the process? Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. Duly noted. So unless any board members will
Well, yeah, I think we have a comment on it. Okay. One of the reasons we had the master lease was because we really don't know how to rent real estate, and that's why we went to Hudson Related, who are in that business. The problem on Main Street, it has been for years, is that there is not a lot of foot traffic, and people, restaurants and businesses have come and gone. Mostly they go into arrears for years, and RIOC was in the habit of just letting the arrears build up and then forgiving them, and it just was not working. Hudson Related took over. They made some progress. I think now they're hitting some of the same issues that we hit. I know you said something about $45 a square foot. My understanding is it's less than that. And also that the price has never been an issue from anyone that's looked at it. But more of an issue is the fact that they just don't see the need on the island and businesses, and there's not a whole lot that we can do about that. Absolutely, the signage should have happened a long time ago. We all kind of got on the road of having terrific signage that was going to be electronic and all that, and that did not happen yet. So signage would certainly help, but I think Cushman and those agencies certainly know better than we do how to rent stores. I don't think the leasing process, you can tell me who said the leasing process is cumbersome, we can have a look at that, but it's really no more cumbersome than any other leasing process would be. That's why we stepped out of it, so that we have the one master lease, and not everybody that comes has to go through an RFP and a process that would stop them from being able to just come in and rent like any small business would. So we're kind of all as stymied, at least I'm stymied about it, and I'm not sure what the answer is. The signage will probably help. I think also when Cornell actually opens up, I think people will be more aware of the island, there'll be more people on the island, and that may generate enough interest. But that's kind of my own personal opinion, and unfortunately Howard is the chair of our real estate committee and he's not here tonight. So I'm not sure what, if anything, they've come up with. For what it's worth, that's my opinion on it.
I can address some of the issues also. Right now, we're having a high-pressure gas line being put in. We have local law 11, and we have scaffolding all over the place. So even those businesses that were supposed to open are hesitant until things get a little more settled. It's a construction site right now, for various reasons. Local Law 11, New York City requires it, and in truth, that's a good thing. Island House at Westview is going to put up scaffolding very soon, and also there's going to be new windows put in, and that's very intrusive on traffic on Main Street. That's another reason that we haven't jumped to the signage. We don't have that much signage to put up right now. And on Main Street, I don't know where we're going to put anything because of all the activity. So I join with Margie in saying, well, the Cushman is the expert, but also on an operational and just on an issue of the activity on the island or on Main Street may be a very good reason why, even if they're contemplating, that they're not opening this minute.
And if I may comment, people have issues with what's happened. But if you go back over the 4 or 5 year time frame you referred to from the master lease, since that time, the Main Street Promenade has been rebuilt. It's lit up. The overhangs are all wood paneled. You've got the M&D Deli has been reconstructed and it's actually decent and clean now. You've got the grog shop, the wine shop is finally open and they're doing a swift business. You've got the fresh market, Wholesome Foods, yeah. That one is doing very well, and they were uncertain when they initially opened how well they would do. They're doing very well. The sweet shop is doing okay. So there's a lot. So in that same period that you're referring
And
to,
don't forget Subways and the renovation of Prestigis, that was a big deal.
Things have happened. It's been slow over that same period that you're referring to. The signage, some of the signage has been replaced over the old stuff that was torn down has been replaced, and now the wood paneling and lighting is up in there. So it's a lot less cavernous to look at, it's easier to walk down. So things are slowly getting better. We still struggle with the fact that there's 2 forms of retail traffic. There's your regular neighborhood traffic, and then there's through traffic. We have very little through traffic, aside from some construction folks and some of the hospital staff. And the hospital staff is reduced dramatically. Once Cornell opens, we will have both increasing permanent population, the people who are working in the offices and will want to go out, particularly it's nice to use the retail space that we can enhance. And also the serendipitous through traffic, as people, the only way to get there at the moment is across the tram, subway, or a lot of cases with Cornell, they'll probably driving from Queens because they're building a high-tech facility in Queens that's affiliated with this program. So we'll have more through traffic going up and down Main Street who might serendipitously have a reason to stop at the stores. All those things will be on the demand side of the marketplace that we have, and hopefully that will help Hudson Related to do some stuff. But right now, as you've heard, it's not that nothing's been done. A lot of stuff has been done, and it is simpler now for them to sign a strictly commercial lease with Hudson Related than it was doing a government lease with the stuff we had to go through in the past when RIOC got back. So, you know, when you look at it at the longer picture, because everything here crawls, it has gotten better, dramatically better than it was. If you remember what M&D Deli looked like just, a little while ago, it wasn't particularly pleasant. Now it's a lot nicer in there. And their stocking's better, the lighting's better, the decor is better, their inventory is better. So things are slowly improving. Once we get past some of this major construction and we get the, in 2017, 2018, when we had the fully open section of the Cornell, we should see more on the demand side and then there's more on the supply side. But we'll see how it goes.
I think you just have to remember, residents need to remember that store owners, they need to have the business. If they don't see business, then that is very unattractive to them, that they're not going to come in. And as Michael said, as once Cornell is here, and businesses can see more traffic, I think we would have a better chance of bringing in people. But we can't just go out there and say, oh, come on in. Realtors are, not realtors, I'm sorry, store owners are really looking at how much traffic they think they're gonna have. If they think they're not gonna have it, they're not gonna bring this much traffic.
But we appreciate you pushing us in a positive and polite way, because we always try to, and particularly the resident board directors, the only reason we're here, obviously, is for the lavish pay, free, but it's because we're trying to make the island better, and things are happening, it's just a lot slower than, particularly any of us who got on board a while ago in Margie, we thought you'd come in and really do wonders to make the island better, but it just takes forever, but it's slowly better. Streets are paved, the lights are on, the bus is free, and most of the stores have been reconstructed and rebuilt. So it's taking a while. Wish we could do faster.
One issue which has been raised by several people is that the spaces are available simply too big for the sort of business that's going to come in, and yet Hudson seems to be unwilling to.
Well, I mean, from
there's a question of innovation. Really.
Okay. Well, from my standpoint, from the board, post signing the master lease, I don't get any of the information. The conversations between the prospective business owners and the space allocation, I never hear about that anymore. It's Hudson related. So if the comments that they're getting, that the space potentially needs to get, the layout needs to be different, I haven't heard it.
And in fact, you can help us with that, if you have specifics that you
Well, I
can
went
us
to the,
set up, or-
without naming names, I was at the RIOC advisory committee
Right.
last night, and that was an issue that came up. Not once, but several times. I mean,
Yeah.
people are looking for innovative,
right,
original solutions rather than just trying to follow the conventional route. Obviously, there are big problems here. We're not
Right.
the same as Second Avenue.
and when you think about it, I mean, Cushman has been in this business a long time. I don't think that they would, if they knew there was somebody there who wanted a partial space, and if they thought there was one room and they could cut it in half and rent out 2 of those, I think they'd do it in a heartbeat. So I'd be hard pressed to understand why they wouldn't. And again, I don't want you to name names, but if we can get somebody, if somebody can tell you who got turned down, who wanted a smaller space and was told no, we can go with that. You don't necessarily have to say who told us, although I don't know why they wouldn't want to tell me, but that would help.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics.
Okay, if you've got, because sometimes one person may have wanted, and they sometimes tend to grow from there.
Yeah,
But
the rule of mill obviously works, but equally, there was a lot of frustration in the room.
Yeah, absolutely.
With people of good will,
Absolutely.
who know the issue.
Yeah, I've
And
known
they just
them
want to
all
see
my life, I was
things
there too, so I heard it all.
And they appreciate everything that's been done,
Mhm.
obviously, but there are still just big empty spaces.
Right.
In
Right.
truth, and in truth, I can answer some of that, because there was an issue with 504 on the top, that they wanted half space. There were 2 groups that wanted half space, but it was not reasonable because of the configuration of that area to separate it, and that's what we said. But on the other hand, with the stationery store, that was offered as a half store, and that was not acceptable. So it really depends on the space, and Hudson Related has on one occasion said yes, and on another occasion said no, because of the space requirements. And so they do really understand that aspect of the business.
And let's not lose sight of the fact when we talk about what is it we can do. They have to pay us rent for that store anyway, whether they're empty or not. So it really behooves them to rent it as quickly as they can.
Yeah.
So there's got to be some reason why they can't, and I think they're as unsure about it as us. That first we thought it was, well, maybe it doesn't look good, so we'll spruce up Main Street. And then we thought, well, maybe when more people get here, that will happen. But, stores, you can't force anybody to come here. They brought Subway here. Now, I know people don't want a whole lot of chain stores. I'm one of those people, I don't either. On the other hand, those are the people who have the money and the time to wait for a Cornell to show up, or a small business person can't come and invest a whole lot of money and cross his fingers and hope that the population will increase. So I think some of it's gonna be wait and see. And I think the best that we could do it right now is to make sure the ones that are here get spruced up and they look good. And we'll just keep getting more proactive, and we can meet with David Kramer again too, and talk about some issues, which we do every year.
Right. And by your own comparison, if you look at Second Avenue area farther north, because you brought up Second Avenue, in the areas where they're working on the subway,
Yeah.
a lot of these small mom and pop shops are gone, are empty, because people couldn't see the stores and they were closed, so they ended up going out of business. And those, you know, which is too bad, but it's not a lot of change in moving into them as the subway system moves farther down. But they just didn't have the capital to maintain themselves until all the construction stuff was out of their way. In our case, we're in the middle of construction, and most of the people that are coming here are not the big change, the Green Market, the other folks. Those are small business owners. So when we had the problem with the construction on the outside of the buildings and the redo of the Main Street walkway and all the stuff that we have going on, they're like, how are people going to see my store? How much through traffic do we have? There's not enough business in the wire buildings right now to support them without other revenue sources. When they originally spoke to Starbucks, and when they first opened before that whole South End was completed, the main reason why they were able to open that and bring it in is because it's part of a package where they get a whole series of stores around the city, and they have to put some in lower lying and prospective areas versus high volume areas to balance it out, and they balance it out. So even though at first, before all those buildings were populated, they were losing money on that Starbucks. Starbucks could afford to lose money in there for a while. Now it's a regular hangout, and they have a regular clientele and food traffic. On the other areas of the island, we may be in the same situation as things improve. But we can't force people to come. We just, as interest generates, we can help facilitate. If there's obstructions that we can remove, decor, lighting, contracting problems, that stuff we can do, but we can't bring people in.
Yeah, I appreciate the time you've given to the subject. Do I just, on the signage thing, obviously Main Street's a mess and going to continue to be a mess for a while. But there is no signage at Oxford, and there's no signage at the subway or the tram, which are not effective. And a lot of people come through that.
Yeah, stuff we talked about fixing in the past, and we had some public meetings about it, and some argument debate about what the sign should look like, what color they should be, and whether they should be electronic or whether they should be still standard signage.
I kind of seem to recall a meeting in which we just said, do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I think that's what people want. They want to see something.
Something.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right.